Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to Associate Professor Dr. Wan Marzuki Wan Jaafar, Director, Center of Academic Development, University Putra Malaysia, members of the Malaysian E-Learning Council for Public Universities, our honorable speakers and participants. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to International University Carnival on E-Learning IUCEL2022. Ladies and gentlemen, our event for today will begin with WebTalk 1, Digital Advancement and Future Curriculum Design in a Borderless World by Dr. Shah, Jahan, Assanarkutty. Without any further ado, I would like to pass our event to our moderator for this session. Please welcome Dr. Manraj Singh Chima, Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, University Putra Malaysia.
Good morning, everyone. So welcome to the WebTalk 1 of the International University Carnival on E-Learning 2022, brought to you by UPM and its associate partners. I'm Raj from the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, University Putra Malaysia, will be moderator for today's WebTalk number 1. All right, so it gives me great pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Shah Jahan Assanarkutty, who's going to share with us on a very important topic. So before we start, do allow me to share a bit of his this great gentleman here, a bit of his biodata and portfolio. So do allow me. Dr. Shah Jahan Assanarkutty is the director of SEAMEO Regional Center for Education in Science and Mathematics, SEAMEO RECSAM. Dr. Shah is the Center Director of SEAMEO RECSAM Penang, and he holds a PhD in Environmental Ethics from the University of Malaya, and he has 25 years of teaching experience as a science and biology teacher in a secondary school, as well as a lecturer at a matriculation college. He also has served as the Deputy Director in the Matriculation College and Matriculation Division Academic in the Ministry of Education Malaysia. His area of specialization includes biology, science education, environmental education, environmental ethics, and educational administration. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Dr. Shah Jahan Assanarkutty, who will come and share with us on digital advancement for future curriculum designs in a borderless world. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you to the moderator, Dr. Manraj, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all. First of all, I would like to thank you, the host of the International University Carnival on E-Learning IUCEL2022, to give an opportunity to share my view on future education. The title of my sharing today is Digital Advancement and Future Curriculum Design in a Borderless World. So here we go. Digital Advancement for Future Curriculum Design in Borderless World. Today, we know that technology has become an integral part and distinct feature of modern societies. So that is without an exceptional in the education industry. So when we think about the curriculum for the future, so digital advancement is one of the criteria that have to be considered. Today, let me start with what we already gone through, the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic have emphasized the crucial role of technology in our daily lives, especially for teaching and learning at home. The COVID-19 have changed worldwide education pattern. It has been shifted to online and hybrid teaching and learning. And during this pandemic, everything transformed. The same goes to school life, the networking, academics, research, collaboration, webinar, conference, training, consultancy, in which all have been pushed toward a digital delivery. This gives us a worldview on how future education will need technology to benefit students. So what are the challenges ahead? In today's changing norm of the world by pandemic, climate change, natural disaster, and war, our world is currently changing very fast, especially the technology shift. We see society is changing. The way of life also change. What we never imagined in the past 20 years, for example, the Google Map application, we can go anywhere with technology guide. And this indicate that the learning environment also have to evolve or change accordingly to the need of future generation. So now, let me look, where are we right now? Each industrial revolution has changed the nature of work and jobs in astounding ways. The current fourth industrial revolution will impact the present jobs as tremendous technological progress lead to change in how people do their jobs. And right now, we are now in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution. However, our education system still resembles the one developed during the first industrial revolution. In this era, of the fourth uh, industrial revolution, the digital intelligence or DQ, an intelligence that we need to survive in this world, is an important factor that we should look in. What is all about this DQ? DQ is a social, emotional, and cognitive abilities that enables individuals to face the challenges and adapt to the demands of life in this digital world. So it is suggested that recognition of this intelligence will expand the scope of teaching and learning in the 21st century and all aspects of one's personal and personal life. So a new paradigm for learning and teaching is needed to keep pace with the advance of the technological and social change. And we can see here, we have moved from IQ to EQ and now to DQ. And if we have the first industrial revolution, it is a physical skill, and move to cognitive skill, to soft skill, and now the digital skills. Yeah, today, in today's digital world, yeah, in every person, if we ask or they want to look for anything, they say look for Google. So this is not only for the layman, the professors, the academician, and everything. Of course, why not? We can see that everything is in the Google. Even how to tie up the shoelace to making a bomb, everything can be found there. And this shows us how much of the information is inside in the digital world. And when we look at this usage of artificial intelligence, this artificial intelligence already in our daily life. For example, that we use the e-wallet in the finance or the Grab for transport. And this all already have changed the way of we living. And this goes in all aspects of our life. So we believe that with this part of this advance of this artificial intelligence, our education will be much more fun and interesting in the future, and we have to be ready for the change. I like to highlight here a study from a Malaysian, that is Ibrahimi, in the 2018. And his study shows that 76% of the Malaysian schools use ICT in education, 72% of the students in Malaysia use ICT for education, and 57% of the teachers use ICT for education. And these studies show that Malaysian schools or Malaysian teachers or Malaysian students are not left behind in the digital world. But how much they use it in the latest version of the digital, we are not much studied yet. However, this is in 2018. I believe that after the pandemic, a lot of changes and more schools and more students and more people are engaged in digital activities. Let me go back. Whatever things that we do, finally in education, we have to come back to the philosophy of education. What is the ultimate purpose of education? Of course, education is to get a noble person. But I like to quote here the quote that used by Jean Piaget. The principle or goal of education in the schools should be creating men and women who are capable of doing new things, not simply repeating what other generations have done. So, what our education can create the next generation be more creative to face the world ahead? The curriculum evolution, we have evolved. Of course, our curriculum also evolved. And this evolve our curriculum will never stop. When we say the future is the digital education, it will never stop. It is going to evolve. And the evolution of the curriculum reflect the evolution of the knowledge, skills, and the civilization as a whole, so that we can produce our future generation become a well-rounded and confident adult who can contribute productively to their community. And the prior research has shown that our development of the curriculum is much faced by the demand of the society, the advancement of the technology, and what kind of knowledge is most valuable at that time. So now we have to look for our future education. So our future education, it should be a futuristic one, and we have to formulate it so that it can be sustained and compatible to our students to face the new world. The future workforce or job is unpredictable. Today we might say that we need more data scientists. However, it might change when new means of communication appears in future. So we have to sit together to all the stakeholders, and we must get the advice from the teachers on the ground, students, parents, and everyone in the industries to formulate our future education. And the good thing is that most of the teachers around the globe already experience the PDPR here, what we call that the online teaching. So there will be enough data and statistics to serve as a basic to establish a plan of action for the future. So we have to rethink. The whole education have to rethink. We can't do a patch and paste work. We have to restructure it, the whole thing, because it is in a different way the lesson should be on. We need to rethink how we teach the current classroom setting which is originated around the time of the first industrial revolution, where the students sit in a classroom or lecture halls, mostly face forward, sit there in rows, listening to the teacher deliver the content, and most of the time it is memorizing the content. I don't think this will work in the future. We have to restructure it, and our teachers in the future should be much more as a facilitator rather than a content deliverer. And some of the key enablers of this change are: we have more digitalized content right now, and online learning is a trend. It's already accelerated since the pandemic, COVID-19. So we hope that our education will reform. So when I say that education will reform, it is have to reform from the silos to consolidated. We want teachers or schools to collaborate with other agencies or institutions or anyone. It is not like what we're happening today, where the teachers, we are only within their schools or within their district level, but it didn't go beyond. But now this world, we have to make it consolidated, to make them to communicate to teachers around the world. And secondly, the manual to automated. And when we say in a school, for example, taking attendance is a manual in schools. Every day this routine job will goes on, the teacher will do. And it have to be automated. And there's a lot of things that in school that can be automated. And this can save time in the schools. And teachers and lessons can be given more priority at this time. And we say the features to experience. We don't want the student to have features, beautiful features, their textbooks or what they learn. But we want the student to experience it, either with the AR technology or VR technology. And finally, we want a guide or where the student can create and respond to changes. So in total, we can say that our classroom should transform from physical to digital. To assist this design of the future education, I'm very much believe that with the digital learning tools that we already have, there's a lot. We can use all this. If we can cooperate in our classrooms for the teachers, then the online learning can happen more fun and more interestingly and more benefit to those students. I do believe that in the future, there will be more customer friendly and cheaper apps which is accessible to all of our students. So our future education must incorporate the digital literacy skill. So the skills associated with using technology to enable students to find, evaluate, organize, create, or communicate, and to develop them to become a digital citizenship. Because in the future, most of the business will need a digital literate workforce. So the education sector right now, we have to produce more employable graduates and a workforce that is better prepared for the jobs of the future. The table here shows the traditional where digital literacy. I know that everyone can understand that, and we must move toward the digital literacy for our students. So the concept of the future of the education design, in my view, is we must have or we must create a learning hub. A learning hub where the design of will allow the different ideas of the students, where can they sit together to share the idea, and it is more fun and interesting, where they can engage totally in a learning process. And it can be happen in anywhere. It is the student is right in the classroom, or they are at home, they're anywhere. So it should be happen anywhere. So it's a concept of open classroom. And in the concept of the future education design also, it should be open timetable where students, they can choose at their suitable times, and it is not restricted by any other things. Homeschooling will be one of the choice for in the future, and it's a borderless world. The student can learn from anyone, from anywhere. And it's a global education, where global and local, they learn things. And it should be interactive with all the application that's already developed right now. So it's more fun, and learning can happen at any place, anytime, with more interesting. So what are the future trends in education? So when we say in education, so I list down here 4. In the future, what we can say is this will happen: the learning from everywhere. As a student, they can learn everywhere, either in the classroom or outside of the classroom. And same thing, it is a personalized. Yeah, it's a personalized, where every student, they learn according to their phase of understanding. So, and third is a virtual learning, and this will be dominated because in the future, virtual learning will be dominating. And finally, it is lifelong learning, because everyone needs to continuously learn. It's because learning for them is to understand the fast changing environment around them. So that will be our future trends in education. And what about the teachers? When we say about the teachers, we will have a concept of e-teacher, because the teacher also have to be well prepared, because as technology already take over the classroom now, they should know, the teacher should know where to get the information well, and they must be more smarter than their students. Okay, but they are become a facilitator. They are no more, they had no need to memorize the content to deliver it in the class. They become a facilitator because the knowledge is now everywhere and easily accessible. And secondly, they become a lifelong learner. Teachers can't stop learning. They have to learn. If their subject is geography, they have to learn continuous learning, because new information emerging every day and every time. And the student is not only local, they are going to be global. So the teacher have to know globally what is happening. So for teachers also, it is a lifelong learner. And the third one is teachers must be digitally capable individuals. I think we don't want teachers to become the consumers of the digital technologies. They should also can create they also can do coding, so that they can prepare their own lessons in a digital form and more interesting. Finally, we want our education can produce a DQ citizenship, a citizenship that they know the good and bad of the digital, and they know how to protect themselves. Because there is a cases of cyberbullying, cyber attacks, and people got hacking, data leakage. So this we will all be aware when we are in the digital age. And we don't want our future generation be vulnerable to cyber risks. There's a study shows that 60% of the children around the world have experienced at least one cyber risk, such as cyberbullying, technology addiction, misinformation, online sexual exploitation, and others. Amidst these challenges, we have to move forward, because this will be the era of digital. So we have to move forward to realize a better future. Okay, let me look what is the advantage of digital education for students. First, I start with the personalized learning. On top of the digital education, this advantage is helping students to learn in their pace. Further, the digital format enables educators to customize the curriculum to suit the students' learning capabilities. And this also can make the students smarter, because the tools developed using the latest technologies allow students to develop effective self-directed learning capability. And thirdly, it can motivate students, because students who use the digital education platform, they are more engaged, because they know that no one is going to like for them, for the face-to-face with the teachers and they're facing the computer, they feel more comfortable facing the computer. So the teachers, the education platform, the students are more engaged well. So we have more good things when we do with the digital educations. The students become more accountable, a better engagement rate, a deeper involvement of teachers and parents, because the digital learning technologies and tools such as social learning platform make it easier for teachers to create as well as manage separate groups for students and parents. So that's why we can see in the school they have a lot of groups of WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, so they can monitor and look on the students. So it's a good thing. So let me see what is the way forward of digital learning. So the way forward, but we thing is the student can choose the courses from multiple schools. This is our idea. I mean, if it's happen in the future, it can be in the future. I mean, the students can courses from any schools of the world, and they can arrange the self timetable. And schooling can happen at school, at home, and there can be a credit transfer system. It might be a student is taking a paper or a lesson from Malaysia, another paper is taken from the US, so we should have a credit transfer system. And at the same time, the education's quality, it is a global quality. So to make this happen, the schools have been partnered to overseas schools. So this is good. A quality education can emerge, and the knowledge can exchange within all the community of teachers, students as well. So at the same time, we have to have these open education resources and open initiatives, so that every student can have a chance, so they can access to all kind of knowledge all over the world. And when you say the library, it can be a library with a global open library, a virtual library. Yeah. And these are some of the activities that students can do when they do digital educational learnings. It's fun, it's great. So finally, I would say here that digital and technology transformation are important, but we should keep in mind that technology cannot replace humans. We need balance between them, these two dimensions in learning, because the human factor is still important. We can't have the technology take place of the humans' sides. And to conclude, the entire education sector have to rethink what we teach and how we teach. And education levels must evolve a quality learning in the future skills such as global citizenship skills, including awareness of the wider world and sustainable innovation and creativity skills, important for the future, including problem solving, analytical thinking, technology skills, and include the data science and programming. And one of the most important things that I feel is ethics is important, because when we consider virtual and online as a different means, when they face the ethics, when they're dealing things, when to face. So ethics should be considered how they deal with the other people through the medium of this online, or to other living beings, or in any kind of situations. So ethics is important. So we have to have the human, a good human finally should be produced by our education. Another important thing is, since we are going to connect the whole over the world, the students, we must understand the culture of every people in this world, because we are getting much closer, and we must understand what are the needs and the tradition of every culture in this world. And before I end, I'd like to share here, these are the activities that the SEAMEO RECSAM we conduct for the teachers and students in the ASEAN region toward the digitalization process. And even right now also, we are conducting a study on the future education design for the SEAMEO countries. So you can go through our website and to look for the courses, or to join us, or to also can uh, we can collaborate if anyone is interested. Thank you very much. Hope to see you all again. Thank you.